For this edition of Indigenous Circle, I'm joined by Fred Kelly, Spiritual Advisor for the AFN and has been for some 30 years. Great to be speaking with you, Mr. Kelly. I want to start off by offering you this tobacco and to thank you for speaking with me today and for all you're doing here.
Miigwech was as a matter of traditional protocols, that's what always precedes if we're going to do something, but it's not for me. It's on behalf of I accept it on behalf of the spiritual people who advise me and guide me. So thank you. And
so you're here tomorrow is a big day. You guys had a meeting today about tomorrow. What can you tell me about that meeting?
Well, in the first place, so far as I am concerned and impressed by, if anything, is that it's taken generations and ages, a lot of wrangling to get to a stage where we're going to meet with the head of the Catholic Church that ran most of the residential schools across Canada. The other thing that strikes me is the fact that we are going to meet with His Holiness, the Pope of the Catholic Church, and the other churches, the other Christian churches that ran residential schools have been up to now absent, at least in terms of meeting with the heads and whatnot. But the Catholic Church has been seeming to be rather reluctant and hesitant to face the issue, so it seems. And so this one here, I'm here at the behest of the Assembly of First Nation leadership. They asked if I would be willing to act as their spiritual advisor. I accepted, not because I feel that I'm the only spiritual advisor. There are many, but they asked me to be here. So on that basis, I am honored to be here. And so meeting with His Holiness, as I say, it's generations and an awful lot of that, and it's finally happening. Now, how that's going to turn out, I'm rather optimistic about how it turns out, but my position here is to support the positions that have already been developed and will be presented, and then I will do the opening invocation and opening the door to what their presentations are, and so they'll be making those presentations. So I'm here for that, and to help them to ensure that to the best of my ways, that the spirituality of our people is being effected on the ground through their presentations.
Now, Fred, you are also a survivor yourself, correct?
Yes.
And how, being the spiritual advisor for the AFN and for the survivors, being here to talk with the head of the Roman Catholic Church, so he's the head of the spiritual head of sorts of the Catholics. So what is that like for you to meet, being that you're going to meet with him tomorrow?
We as a people never created this dichotomy, never created this segregation of spirituality, religion, the church and the state, the animate from the inanimate, the secular and the sanctity of our people's ways. We never separated because they're all together as one, and we never created the dichotomy of spirituality and religion, as I say. And what I mean by that is this: religion of the Catholic Church is one thing, it's a dogma. Spirituality is a relationship with the spirit world, and there are certainly ceremonies, that is our connection. But the point of that is that the Catholic Church through the ages has found, and the ideologies that made us inhuman, we're not human, and as a result of that, under the Indian Act, it took till about 1968 before we were recognized as people with certain capabilities. So with all that being cast asunder, looked upon as inferior pagans, looked upon as savages with no religion, no rights, no duties, no privileges, which gave rise to the concept of terra nullius. We're just nobody. If you can discover a land where there's nobody.
Well, we know that that's wrong. That's wrong. So what is the main message that you're going to give to the Pope tomorrow?
My main message is a spiritual message, because the other presentations are being made, as I say, has already been developed. But in my invocation, I ask His Holiness to join me in prayer, amongst other things, to reconcile the hostility that they created with our people who welcomed people from across the pond to be here. And to join me in prayer because, in our view, there is only one God, and there is no pagan God, there's no other God like that. It's the human constructs that divide us. So, my main message is to ask Him, in much the same way as the eagle that looks after our people on Turtle Island, and the way in the Catholic Church the dove descended upon their ways, bless them. And so the eagle and the dove may fly together in peace and harmony, as we ought to walk here on earth towards reconciliation, healing, and rebuilding of relationships that were originally determined by our people in spirituality and by theirs in their religious ways. Where did these things go wrong? Well, it's not my role to point blame, but my role is to seek how these can be reconciled towards harmony and recognition and respect.
And do you think he will offer an official apology this week here in Rome?
Personally, I think that the Pope is inclined to issue an apology. I believe that he is inclined to accede to the presentations that will be made, and because there's some if we're looking at truth and reconciliation, part of my invocation too is to invoke reconciliation in all of its meanings. Reconciliation has a special meaning within the Catholic Church now. Reconciliation has meanings within the society in general. How do you put those together? I know that he understands those, and I know that he is inclined personally to do that. Now, I'm not really sure that I'm not sure that he speaks from the point of view to represent the Church in this true meaning form, as maybe Christ and God would have said. That I am not sure. That's an ideology called religion.
Okay, Mr. Fred Kelly, thank you so much, Chumagwech, for speaking with me today.